If you need to learn how to cook Easter dinner for 8 people, all under $60, including dessert, today's video is for you. This is going to be a fun one. I'm also going to share some fun Easter treats and decorations. So let's get started. So here are all of the items that I picked up from Walmart for our Easter dinner. All of this is going to feed 8 people, probably with quite a few leftovers. Let's start over here. And once again, I got all of these items for under $60, which is a fantastic deal. I got a bag of russet potatoes. We are going to be making some mashed potatoes and gravy with these. I got some eggs. A few of these will be for the cupcakes. And then we're also going to make some deviled eggs, which is obviously a classic Easter food. I got some butter, 4 sticks of that for several different things. Some sour cream. We're actually going to use part of this in the ambrosia salad. I decided to go with the Rhodes dinner rolls. Now you can make your own homemade dinner rolls. I have found that it's much more convenient to use these and they're really delicious. They actually taste just like homemade, so no worries there. I got some chopped walnuts. These are optional, but I am going to include them in the ambrosia salad. You could also use pecans or cashews. I got some marshmallows for the ambrosia salad as well. Some heavy whipping cream. We're going to use part of this for the mashed potatoes, part of it for the ambrosia. I also got some pineapple and mandarin oranges for that salad as well. Some maraschino cherries. And then I am going to make some green bean casserole. So I got 1 can of cream and mushroom soup, 2 cans of green beans, and some French fried onions. Everyone loves a good green bean casserole moment. I got some sweetened coconut flakes for the ambrosia salad. And then for dessert, we're gonna do these really cute chick cupcakes. So I got this funfetti kind of spring / Easter themed cake mix, and then I also got this funfetti yellow frosting, and then this cupcake decorating kit, which was in the Easter section, which is super cute. I want to take a quick break and thank Walmart for sponsoring today's video. You guys know I shop at Walmart all of the time, and so I am thrilled to be partnering with them today to share some different ideas about how you can do Easter on a budget this year. Especially during the Easter holiday season, serving the best food for your family is top of mind. Tons of customers are shopping Walmart for this special meal, and in some cases they have been preparing for this meal and looking for inspiration all season. Bunnies, baskets, and blooms are in abundance at Walmart this Easter, so you can capture the excitement of egg hunts and Easter baskets and create moments of sheer joy at the return of spring. Walmart definitely has everything you need to get ready for the season and under budget. You guys know I use Walmart grocery pickup all the time, but they also have their Walmart Plus membership, which is definitely awesome if you don't want to leave your house. I definitely shop at Walmart to build baskets for my kids, and you guys can shop there too to build baskets for everybody under budget. Walmart helps spark curiosity and a sense of wonder for all ages with wow-worthy baskets filled to the brim with festive treats, the best toys and favors, and even more Easter goodies. So I thought it would be really fun in this video to show you guys an example of an Easter dessert board that you can easily put together, all with items from Walmart. So I have this wooden serving tray. I actually did pick this up from Walmart several months back. You guys have probably seen me use it before for a charcuterie board, but I just like to line it with a little bit of wax paper or parchment paper. And then I start in the center with kind of the centerpiece for this board, which is a chocolate bunny. I decided to lay that on some Easter grass, and then basically you can just build the board out to the outside with all kinds of treats. So in this particular example, I'm doing an Easter board, but you could do a variety of, different themes. You could do a charcuterie or a veggie board or like a meat and cheese. You could also do a cheese ball. I actually saw a really cute carrot shaped cheese ball that I think would be really fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep placing items around here. Walmart has some really cute yogurt dipped pretzels that are different colors of pastel. They are really delicious too. I thought it would be also fun to include some Peeps. Do you guys like Peeps or not? I feel like they are definitely the quintessential Easter candy. I love them, so of course I had to include some of them on there. They also had these great chocolate covered graham crackers with pastel sprinkles, also some white chocolate covered cookies with sprinkles, and these fun pastel almonds. I thought that the Easter grass added such a fun touch to this board. board, and I will definitely be doing this again every single Easter. It was so fun. I used a mixture of green and pink grass, and then especially for the smaller items like the gummies or the chocolate covered almonds, I usually just grab some bowls out of my cupboard and add those to the tray. You can do different colors if you want. I decided to keep these white just so I could keep the color palette pretty neutral pastel colored. I also wanted to add some Reese's peanut butter eggs because hello, they are the most delicious Easter candy in my opinion. You could also add Cadbury eggs if you like those. I also picked up from Walmart these cute pre-filled eggs, which I'll also be using some of these for my kids' Easter egg hunt on Easter, but I thought it would be fun to include some of these on the board as well, just because they're fun, and you know, if you have kids over, they can kind of pick off the tray and it'll be fun for them to open the eggs. There's a couple different kinds I got here. One is just a plain candy one, and then there was a Disney one as well, so I just kind of tried to alternate the colors and place those on there in kind of a pattern, I guess, that was pleasing to the eye. Okay, and then last but not least, I am going to add some strawberries just because I always love combination of strawberries and chocolate, and it just adds a little bit of freshness and a pop of color to the board as well. So here is my completed Easter dessert board. I love how it turned out. So pretty, and this was so quick and easy to put together, you guys. Anyone could do it. So don't forget, this Easter season, Walmart has everything you need to get ready for Easter under budget. If you guys want to check out more from Walmart, I will have a link in the description box below, so definitely check that out. Okay, so we do have to give the rolls a chance to rise, and you can either do that in the fridge overnight or you can do it at room temperature. So I just have a 9x13 pan here, and you can make 2 of these if you want. Actually, you could make 3 of them probably, depending on how many rolls you want, because there's 36 dinner rolls in each bag. So these rolls are going to rise for 2 to 3 hours until they're double in size, and I just added some plastic wrap over the top that I sprayed with nonstick cooking spray, and that will just help if the rolls end up rising to the top, it won't stick to the plastic wrap. And then these only have to bake at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so whenever you're cooking a large dinner for a holiday or anything really, you always want to think about what takes the longest and try to do those things first. So for example, we want the deviled eggs to be able to sit in the refrigerator for a while we cook the rest of the dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and boil these so I can get them cooling. We have a dozen eggs here, and I'm going to use 9 of them for deviled eggs, and then we'll save 3 of them for the boxed cake mix. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat on. I'm going to bring these to a boil. Once the pot comes to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat off, put the lid on, and let them sit for 15 minutes to finish cooking. Next, I'm going to go ahead and whip my cream for the ambrosia salad, and I will link all of these recipes down below. So I'm just going to put half a cup of cream in the mixer, add a tablespoon of sugar, and whip that up until it makes stiff peaks. Okay, so the whipped cream is stiff now, and I went ahead and added my half a cup of sour cream. We're going to save the other half to doctor up our cake mix. Okay, so our eggs are done, and we're just gonna place these in a bowl here that I have filled with ice, and then I'm gonna run cold water over this and basically let them sit. I usually let them sit for a good 20 minutes because I find the more that I let them sit and cool off, the easier they are to peel. Okay, so for our cake, I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. We're actually gonna make cupcakes, but I wanted to share with you guys how I do a doctored up cake mix. So again, I'm using this funfetti cake mix. You can use any type of cake mix that you want, but I think this one is going to be super cute for Easter. So in my stand mixer here, I have some sour cream, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm going to add my 3 eggs, and then you can use either water or milk. I have 1 1/3 cups of milk, so I'm going to add that. And the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm going to go ahead and use almond extract because I think it tastes really good in cake, especially like in white cake. So I'm going to whip this together. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour, And then I'm just gonna beat this on medium speed for about 2 minutes until everything is combined. Okay, so I'm gonna put out my cupcake tins here, and I got these pastel colored cupcake liners at Walmart. They are so pretty. I love the colors in them. So we're just gonna put our liners in here, and I think I'm just gonna use a variety of different colors. It looks like there are, what, 6 colors in there, so we should be able to use some of each. And then I'm just gonna use an ice cream scoop to fill up my cupcake liners. If you've never made a, quote, doctored up boxed cake mix before, there's lots of recipes online. Some of them have like a dry pudding mix in them. I've done that before. It's really good. The principle behind it is that, you know, sometimes when you make boxed cakes, they're very airy and super light, and they almost like squish down when you try to frost them. This is gonna be more of a dense cake, and it's also going to be richer than the normal recipe because we added sour cream. Some recipes use melted butter, some use sour cream, some use pudding mix, so definitely play around with that. I think it's a great way to create a really awesome dessert. And I really like the idea of cupcakes for Easter because, one, you can decorate them super cute, themed, and 2, especially if you have kids over, kids love cupcakes. I mean, who doesn't love a cupcake, really? But kids especially love cupcakes. So I've got my oven set at 325. I'm gonna pop these in here, and I'm probably gonna start with 18 minutes for these, and then we'll check them and see if they need a little bit more time. All right, so who loves ambrosia salad? So there's a ton of different ways that you can make it. I'm gonna use Alton Brown's recipe because it seemed rather popular. I've made several versions of this. Adam's aunt actually makes a really good one with cherry pie filling, but I wanted to try this version. So I've got a cup of mandarin oranges in my bowl here. I'm gonna add a cup of canned pineapple. I read the reviews on the recipe, and it basically said to use canned fruit rather than fresh because the recipe needed the sweetness. So I'm gonna follow that advice. I put in a cup of sweetened coconut flakes, and then I'm also gonna add 3 cups of marshmallows. I'm gonna add half a cup of maraschino cherries. Raise your hand if you thought that maraschino cherries were like $50 a bottle when you were little. I can remember like having them very once in a while in the house and being like, oh my gosh, you can't eat too many of them. They're very expensive. Come to find out, they're like $2 a bottle. I've been lied to. Okay, so last step is we have our cream mixture here. So again, this is the whipping cream that I mixed up with 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then we added half a cup of sour cream, and I'm just going to add this and we'll give it a toss. Now, some recipes obviously traditionally use Cool Whip, but since I wanted to kind of do a budget focus on this particular meal, I decided to go with the heavy cream because I could use it for multiple things. So I could use it for the ambrosia, and then I could also use it for the mashed potatoes. All right, so in honor of this kind of being an old-fashioned recipe, I'm gonna use one of my grandma's dishes that she passed down to me. So we're gonna add salad to that. Oh, it looks so pretty, doesn't it? Now, for the nuts, I know that a lot of kids don't tend to like nuts, so I think I'm just gonna sprinkle on a couple over the middle, and that will be good enough. And there is our ambrosia salad. How beautiful is that? I may have taken a taste, and it is highly delicious, so recommend this recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover this with plastic wrap and stick it in the fridge until we are ready to eat. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how I prep and cook the ham. It's super easy. Do not be afraid. If you've never cooked a ham before, honestly, you really can't screw it up, or I guess it's really hard to screw it up. So this ham was $26.24 for an 11.5 pound ham, which comes out to $2.28 a pound, which is definitely the best price that I'm gonna get here for an Easter ham. And if you peel the label off here, I'll have the instructions on the inside. And I just like to use a big roasting pan. I obviously have this roaster, but if you don't have one, you can grab a disposable pan at Walmart as well if you don't have one large enough. The other thing I want to mention is if you don't want to slice the ham yourself, which most people don't, make sure you get one that says spiral cut. Then it will already be cut for you. You won't have to worry about that. You can just kind of slice off big chunks of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use my kitchen shears to open this up, and I just do it right in the pan that I'm gonna cook it in, so that way all of the juices and everything can stay in there. Okay, so the recipe doesn't call for this, but I like to pour a couple cups of water in the bottom of my pan, and the reason for that is because, one, we don't want the ham to dry out, which probably isn't gonna happen if we keep it covered, but just in case. And two, I want to have some ham broth in the bottom of the pan when I'm done cooking it, because that's how we're gonna make the gravy for our mashed potatoes. And then it also comes with a glaze packet. We're not gonna put that on until after the ham is done cooking. So you can either cover this with foil, or if you have a pan with a lid like I do, you can put the lid on. And then you wanna cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes per pound. So just keep that in mind as you're making your Easter dinner. This will probably take 2.5 hours to cook all the way through at 325 degrees. And even if it's done before you eat, you can still keep it warm in the oven. It's not a huge deal. So I'm going to pull my cupcakes out and pop the ham in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start peeling my eggs. Now, I have this little contraption here that you're supposed to be able to put the egg in there and shake it. And it's supposed to make peeling the egg super easy. And I do think it honestly works like pretty well. I mean, these eggs are pretty easy to peel anyway, but I think it does a good job, so that's interesting. Okay, so what I like to do is peel these, and then I keep the bowl of water right here while I'm peeling them, because after you get done peeling the egg, there's still sometimes a few bits of shell on it. So I just rinse that off, and then I'll set them on the paper towel over here, and we'll just keep continuing to peel these. Okay, so our cupcakes are done. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these from the pans after I've let them cool for just a couple minutes, and we'll put them on some racks and let them cool the rest of the way. Okay, so I've got my little deviled egg tray here I'm gonna use for my eggs. And what I'm gonna do is just cut these in half. And I've got a bowl right here, so for the filling, I'll just pop the yolks into a bowl and then add the whites to my little tray here. Okay, so there's definitely several ways to make deviled eggs. I'm just gonna show you how I make mine, and then I'll link a simple recipe down below. But the important thing is that you just make them according to your taste. Some people like more relish, some people like them tangier, some people like them sweeter. I'm gonna be using mayo, dill relish, a little bit of mustard, salt and pepper, and then I normally do sprinkle in just a tiny bit of sugar just to kind of cut the tartness of the relish. But first I like to take a fork and just mash up all the yolks so that those are in smaller pieces. Okay, I'm gonna add some mayo to this. Always start out with less, you can always add more. Sprinkle of sugar, pepper, salt, maybe about a teaspoon of dill relish, and I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit of mustard because I don't like it to be too strong, and then I'll just mix this up with a fork. Okay, it's a little bit stiff, so I can already tell it needs a little bit more mayo. Okay, so I tasted my mixture. I added, like I said, a little bit more mayo, a tiny bit more sugar, and I like to pipe these into my whites with a Ziploc bag, but you definitely don't need to do that. You can also use a spoon if you want to. So I'm just gonna add my filling to here. Okay, and then I just cut off a tiny little corner, and you can just pipe the yolk mixture into the eggs. You can definitely also use a piping bag if you want, but I find it just as easy to use as a Ziploc bag. I think it works really well. Hopefully we have enough left. Down to the wire. Okay, now you certainly don't have to do this. I like to add a little bit of paprika just because I think it gives it a nice color. You could also add dill or chives or whatever you have on hand. And there are the completed deviled eggs. So these turned out really good. I'm gonna add these to one on top of the other, stick them in the refrigerator, and they'll be all ready for us to eat when it's time for dinner. Okay, so I went ahead and peeled all of my potatoes. A 5-pound bag of potatoes should definitely feed 8 people. And I like to cook my mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot. So I just have my insert here, and I'm going to cut these potatoes in half and add them to the pot. I'm not quite ready to cook them yet, but what you can do is you can add these to some water and let them sit at room temperature until you're ready to make them. And the reason why I like cooking my mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot is because it has a keep warm function. So you can cook them, mash them, and keep them warm all in the same pot. It's super convenient. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you how I'm gonna decorate some of these cupcakes. So I've got a couple different colors of the funfetti frosting here, and we'll save the sprinkles on the side. So this one is a yellow, which we're gonna use this one with the cupcake decorating kit for the chicks. And then I also took some of the extra coconut that I had left over from the ambrosia and just stirred that together in a bowl with some green food coloring so it looks like grass. And then we're gonna use that probably with some of this white frosting to make some little cupcakes with Easter grass on them, and then we'll decorate them with some peeps. So super fun. I always find it easiest to kind of take everything out of the packages and put them in little bowls so that you can easily grab everything. All right, so my Easter cupcakes turned out so adorable. You guys go get these supplies and make these on your own. So awesome. And you don't even have to be, you know, a fancy baker. I'm not. I just decorated these how I thought they would be cute. So definitely try this for Easter. This will definitely impress your guests. And yes, the cupcakes turned out delicious as well. Okay, so for the Instant Pot mashed potatoes, I'm just gonna put the lid on these. I just basically drained out all of the water except for about a cup or 2 cups. And we're gonna set this to sealing, and then we're gonna cook it on manual pressure for, we'll do 12 minutes since these are kind of larger chunks of potatoes. Okay, so we're gonna make green bean casserole. Of course, you need cream of mushroom soup, so I'm gonna add that to my bowl. Do you ever make green bean casserole any other time of year except holidays? I don't. I should. Okay, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and a cup of milk. I'm just gonna use the soup can. We're gonna need some pepper. Okay, I'm gonna whisk this together, and definitely do this part before you add the green beans or you will crush them all up. So I did strain some of the mushrooms out of this because I'm not a huge fan of mushrooms. Just saying, you can do that. So I'm gonna add my 2 cans of green beans, and then need about a cup and a half of French fried onions. So I'm gonna just add half of this bag now, and then I'm gonna put half of the bag on the top. Okay, I've got a little dish here. This is not quite a 9 by 13. It's smaller than that. If you double this, you will definitely need a 9 by 13. But I think with all the sides we have going on, it's gonna be more than enough for everybody, but you could definitely double it if you wanted to. Okay, and then I'm gonna sprinkle the rest of the onions on top. And then this is gonna bake at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Okay, so here is the ham. It's been cooking for a couple of hours. I took it out and basted it with the juices, and I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle some of the glaze over the top. I don't think I'm gonna use all of it. But then I also took out some of the broth, and this is what we're gonna use for the gravy for the potatoes. Okay, so for our gravy, I've got half a stick of butter in this saucepan here, and I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of flour, and then I'm just gonna cook this over medium heat until it's bubbly. Add some salt and pepper, add our ham broth, and then season it to taste. You can use this formula for any type of gravy: chicken broth, turkey broth, beef broth, all works. Okay, so this is what the rolls look like after they rise. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these into the oven, 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we have our gravy here. So it was a little bit salty, so I added a good amount of black pepper. I also added a splash of cream and some water to it and tasted it, and it's really good now. There's our green bean casserole. Ham is resting. I'm gonna mash the potatoes. So I drained the potatoes. I'm gonna add 1.5 sticks of butter to start out with. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mash these, add salt and pepper and cream. Okay, so here are the rolls. So I've got some melted butter here. I'm just gonna brush these on top. We are about ready to eat. Okay, so I'll show you how everything turned out. So we've got our rolls here with butter and mashed potatoes. Those turned out really good. Deviled eggs. We've got our gravy for the potatoes, green bean casserole, our really, really cute cupcakes, and our ham. So I'm gonna make a plate and I'll show you what that looks like. I totally forgot the ambrosia salad, you guys, so I did get that out. But here is my plate. I went ahead and dished everything up, and I have the ambrosia salad on the side. And of course, we'll have those cute little cupcakes for dessert that we made. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and it really showed you that you can create an awesome holiday dinner for Easter under budget, all with Walmart. Thank you again to Walmart for sponsoring today's video. I'm so over the moon excited to get to work with them. Don't forget to check out that link in the description box below. Thanks again for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Happy Easter.